This wasn't just a love and hip-hop moment, it was a cinematic ATL. Clash dressed in stilettos and broadcast live through iPhone lenses. Mendeecees was mid-swing, security was apparently on sabbatical, and Rasheeda stormed in ready to confront Yandy. But instead of delivering a read, she left the parking lot gripping a half-snatched wig. What we just witnessed, not a party, not a red carpet affair. This was an explosive chapter straight out of the love and hip-hop multiverse. And right in the middle of it all was Mendeecees, looking like he stepped out of a conflict resolution workshop gone wrong. Her handprint was stamped across his face, her acrylics left a trail in the hummus tray, and her rep hanging by a thread. Now wait, let's rewind. Since when did Rasheeda find the gall to confront Yandy? And who, exactly, whispered go ahead into Mendeecees' ear, prompting him to go full-on don't touch my queen mode in front of a room packed with music execs, social media powerhouses, and a DJ spinning Afrobeats like it was the last night on Earth. Make no mistake, this wasn't a celebration. It was a war zone with ring lights and rows. The sponsors' footage didn't just go viral, it made the block shake. So go ahead and grab your popcorn, your pre-sons, and your burner Twitter account, because the moment that slap echoed across the Atlanta skyline, NDAs everywhere lost their power. You see, in the love and hip-hop universe, parties aren't gatherings, they're pressure cookers. Glammed-up landmines disguised as toasts. And before the hashtags hit and the emergency reunion was called, everything started in the green room with whispers, side-eyes, and a power struggle that had been bubbling for months. Enter Rasheeda, the brunch boss with her contour sharp and her side-eye sharper. Word on the streets, she's been climbing the ATL hierarchy fast, replacing Yandy Harris, who once reigned on the New York side of this reality empire. Things had been tense. Yandy had recently walked away from a major six-figure beauty deal, one that Rasheeda had been eyeing for ages. On top of that, Yandy was scooping up screen time, catching deals, and stepping on toes, all without smudging her lipstick. Behind the camera-ready smiles and mimosa brunches, Rasheeda felt iced out, disrespected, and replaced. Fuel was added to the fire when a private video leaked of Yandy in deep talks with Mona Scott about expanding her influence back in Rasheeda's hometown, no less. For a woman who built her brand, brick by brick, it felt like betrayal. Now, what about Mendeecees? Rumors say he went mute, ghosting filming days and reportedly handling business in Miami. Some say he was spotted vacationing with someone, suspiciously not Yandy, while his queen was left defending the ATL throne solo. So when that rooftop launch event invite hit inboxes, the one with press, producers, and potential sponsors on the guest list, everyone knew something messy was brewing beneath the glitter. It was glamorously staged chaos, where champagne bubbles masked the tension thick enough to slice. Yandy's entrance was a moment. She glided in solo, no entourage, no theatrics, just polished silence and a killer red dress that radiated war paint energy. Sources say her hair was laid, her look iced, and her walk purposeful, booked, busy, and bulletproof. Then came Rasheeda. Allegedly, she leaned in and dropped the line, "You really out here smiling in my face while snatching my bags?" Yandy unbothered, she tilted her head, smiled ever so slightly, and walked right past the step and repeat, skipping the cocktails, heading straight into destiny. With a half smile and a voice dipped in steel, Yandy turned to the producers and delivered her response like a signature move. "Sis, I don't steal, I elevate. Maybe you should give it a shot." Polite, poised, lethal. But before that last syllable could fully land, Rasheeda did. Her wrist snapped forward with the sharpness of a whip, a slap cracking through the rooftop air like a firework, misfired at close range. The sound was so jarring it killed the music mid-beat. A nearby influencer fumbled her phone. Conversations stopped. The atmosphere shifted. The universe, it seemed, had just clapped back, and then came the twist. Mendeecees, who, according to sources, wasn't even on the guest list and had told producers he'd be a no-show, appeared out of nowhere, like a plotline that skipped rehearsal. Clad head to toe in black, he stood stationed near the DJ booth, silent and unreadable, like a scene waiting to unfold. When the slap landed on his wife's cheek, he didn't flinch, he didn't yell, he didn't ask why. He simply walked over, lifted a champagne flute from the table, and placed it beside Rasheeda with the kind of precision that made time freeze. "That's your one warning," he said, voice low but unmistakably serious. Rasheeda scoffed, flashing a defiant smirk. "If you don't, boy." She never got to finish. Mendeecees raised his hand and delivered a return slap, clean, swift, and unhesitating. The sound echoed, someone screamed. Yandy reached up, gently touching her cheek, and calmly adjusted her earrings like she was preparing for a meeting, not standing in a rooftop war zone. The music cut off. Silence wrapped around the crowd like static before a storm. Rasheeda stumbled slightly, shocked. Then, chaos. Security scrambled. Screams pierced the night. A wine glass shattered at a VIP table. One bed executive was reportedly overheard muttering, "We're going viral tonight." And viral it went. A drink flew through the air. A heel hit someone square in the chest. The party unraveled into pure, cinematic bedlam. But the real drama, the kind that set Twitter on fire and fractured sponsorships, hadn't even started yet. Because when the cameras finally stopped rolling, when the wigs were snatched and the guests were escorted out, that's when the real damage began. What ignited the franchise's biggest scandal wasn't just the rooftop slap exchange, but a leaked greenroom clip, a microphone left hot, an Instagram live left running, and one explosive audio file that nobody saw coming. It happened just before the event. Rasheeda was getting her glam done, lip gloss applied, edges laid, and somewhere in between contour and concealer, her guard dropped. The mic didn't. Captured in crisp, cruel clarity, her voice rang out, "I don't care if she cries, that's the goal. She walks around like she's untouchable. I want her to break. I want her to melt." 12 seconds. That's all it took. The live ended, but the audio was already clipped, downloaded, and being passed around like contraband. It hit the internet like wildfire. Suddenly, this wasn't just another slap in the love and hip-hop multiverse. It was a full-blown reckoning. The clip, just 45 seconds long, but fans treated it like the Zapruder film of reality TV drama. Slowed it down, added captions, analyzed body language, frame by. Within minutes, Twitter and TikTok were ablaze. They even gave it a name, #WigSnatchergate. Because of course they did. One user posted, "If she comes for me, I'm going off. Don't pull me back." Another demanded, "We need this scene too. Run Don't Pull Me Back as a bonus track." But things were only getting started. More leaks poured in this time. Tech screenshots allegedly pulled straight from Rasheeda's Inner Circle group chat, affectionately known online as the Glam Squad thread, and in under 24 hours, TikTok creators had transformed the entire incident into a cinematic breakdown. Split screens, frame freezes, and conspiracy-level voiceovers filled feeds. Right here, freeze. See it, Rasheeda takes off her earrings. That's not beef. That's rehearsal. But it got darker. One particularly eagle-eyed user did the unthinkable. They overlaid the leaked greenroom audio with the exact moment Rasheeda slapped Yandy. The result? A perfect match. Her sly pre-slap laugh synced with the audio from earlier. It wasn't a reaction, it was a premeditated strike. Through it all, Yandy stayed quiet. Gracefully silent, letting the receipts speak for themselves. Her team, however, moved fast, firing off a cease and desist to the blog that posted the uncut footage. But by then, the damage was done. The video had already exploded across platforms. 1. TikTok. Clip of Mendeecees smashing his champagne glass seconds before delivering his own slap crossed 5 million views overnight. Caption: "He warned her. Then gave her the work." And that's when the sponsors began pulling the plug. By day 3, the rooftop event, originally billed as a fundraiser for women's media empowerment, had officially been cancelled. Sponsors included a luxury skincare line, a premium wig brand, a wellness drink, and 2 female-led venture capital firms. The skincare company went public with a carefully worded statement: "We do not support violence in any form, especially not at an event intended to uplift women." Meanwhile, whispers from inside VH1 revealed that Rasheeda's PR team tried desperately to control the fallout, suggesting she had been emotionally triggered, and that the incident was the result of deep-rooted, unresolved tension. But the internet wasn't buying it. In the days that followed, Rasheeda's team scrambled to rewrite the narrative. Public statements painted her as overwhelmed, emotionally manipulated, and not in the right frame of mind. But the damage was already viral. One particularly savage subtweet from the wig brand sponsoring the event sent timelines into chaos. "We sell crowns, not casualties. You're no queen if you snatch someone else's." It was a direct hit, and everyone felt it. But the public wasn't moved. Especially not after a second audio leak surfaced, this time, Rasheeda's voice, raw and unfiltered, declaring, "I'm tired of pretending. If I've got to pop off to protect my legacy, then so be it. Within hours, that line was printed on merch, hoodies, mugs, phone cases. The contracts had been rewritten, NDAs revised. This was no longer a reunion, it was a televised reckoning. Rasheeda sat stiffly on one side of the couch, arms crossed, jaw clenched. On the opposite end, Yandy sparkled, silver dress, heels sharp enough to cut tension, and not a care in the world. Monty turned to her with a raised brow and asked, "Sis, walk me through the moment her hand met your face." The audience gasped. Rasheeda snapped before Yandy could answer, "That slap was overdue. She's been coming for me off camera for months." Yandy didn't flinch. She simply smiled and delivered a line that left the room cold. "I knew she was weak when she chose to swing instead of speak. That slap wasn't about me. It was about everything she's losing." Mendeecees, seated calmly next to her, leaned forward and dropped the final quote of the night, like a mic, underhanded, shady, and now, exposed. Rasheeda leaned in, eyes blazing. "Don't act like you're Saint Yandy," she sneered. "You're lucky that's all you got." From off-camera, a producer could be heard whispering, "Clip that." The audience froze, breathless. The tension had peaked, but it hadn't climaxed. Not yet. Then Monty turned, cool, precise, and aimed the next shot straight at Rasheeda. "So, are you filing charges?" "Legal action," gasps Rash, blinked, caught off guard, then gave a tight nod. "We've spoken to counsel. There was physical reprisal. We're exploring our options." Mendeecees chuckled, shaking his head like a man who'd seen the ending already. "Good luck," he said. "You signed up for this." And that S when Monty detonated the night's biggest bomb, because VH1 Legal just confirmed. "You signed an aggression waiver before the event." Boom. The camera zoomed in. Rasheeda's face dropped like a failed plot twist. "What waiver?" she snapped. Monty pulled out a manila folder like she was hosting a courtroom. "Page 3, she said, calmly. "The one where you agreed to any physical outcome during the taping." The crowd erupted. The hashtag page 3 shot to the top of the trending charts. Within minutes, memes appeared of Rasheeda getting served during a reunion. Her face burned red. Not from clothing, not from lighting, from humiliation. She tried to backpedal, saying she was duped, that she'd signed under pressure, but it was far too late. Twitter had already logged off with the receipts. Then Monty turned to Kirk, who had been silent the entire time, arms folded like a statue in a museum of absentee husbands. "Kirk, thoughts? Your wife just got exposed, almost got sued, and got slapped. Anything to add?" Kirk scratched his beard, exhaled, and muttered, "I just think we all need to become better." The room roared with laughter. "Yandy didn't miss her cue, sir," she said, with a smirk. "Your wife got assaulted and rejected on national TV, and you're serving Bible verses. Grow up." This is season 10. And then, because the show lives on mess, they brought out Carly Red with a glass of wine in one hand and decades of receipts in the other. She leaned back and hit them with the closer. "Let's be clear, Rasheeda been begging producers for a storyline since August." Laughter, applause. Even the camera crew in the back had to look away. Yandy sipped her wine and delivered the kill shot. "I win because I don't have to swing." Aftermath. The reunion aired. The chaos was recapped across every blog, podcast, and Twitter space within hours. Petitions hit 100,000 plus. Signatures demanding Rasheeda's suspension from the franchise. She was accused of premeditated violence, storyline sabotage, and brand exploitation. One viral blog headline read, "The slap that rocked reality TV, is Rasheeda cancelled for good?" Another Yandy's glow. How to win without swinging back. Meanwhile, Mendeecees Saws was having a moment, a viral one. In less than 3 days. His follower count skyrocketed by over 200,000, proof that sometimes all it takes is a meme, a mood, and a perfectly timed camera angle to flip the script. Overnight, fan accounts anointed him Zaddy of the Year, and the internet. It ran with it like wildfire. The spark. A slowed-down clip of him pacing the stage, visibly distressed, shouting, "Where's my wife?" Raw, unrehearsed emotion, but it didn't stay raw for long. Someone threw Meek Mill vocals over it. Dreams and nightmares. No less end suddenly. It was a cultural reset. The remix slapped. Dramatic pauses. Crowd echoes. The whole thing became a viral prayer for emotionally available men everywhere. Twitter declared it the male version of Beyoncé's Resentment. TikTok choreographers used it for everything from breakup skits to gym motivation. Even producers started asking if Mendeecees had a mixtape we didn't know about. But it wasn't just the drama, it was the delivery, the pacing, the passion, the public plea that somehow managed to turn heartbreak into heartthrob status. People weren't just watching, they were feeling it. And in a space where men rarely show that kind of vulnerability without ridicule, Mendeecees tapped into something deeper. RELATABILITY. So now, he's not just trending. He's being rebranded. And the irony, he didn't plan a thing. The moment found him and the culture crowned him for it. And as for Yandy, she didn't explain. She didn't defend. She didn't drop names or quotes disguised as shade. She posted one photo. A single, striking shot, her lounging in a high-backed chair, sipping wine, draped in a silver ensemble that shimmered like armor. No filter, no need. Her expression, effortlessly, calm like a woman who had already read the group chat, scrolled the threads, and still chose peace over performance. The caption, "Unbothered looks good on me, always has." And that was it. No follow-ups, no story time, no energy wasted on chaos. Just a photo and a statement that felt more like a mic drop than a mood. Because when you move with receipts instead of reactions, silence is the statement. Fans lost it in the comments. Grace under fire. She didn't come to place, she came to reclaim. The shade isn't even shady. It's polished. In a world where everyone's screaming to be heard, Yandy whispered and still owned the room. Let me know if you'd like this entire series compiled into a full written short story or novella, a stylized TV show, script format, a narrated YouTube-style recap formatter. Even adapted into a TikTok role-friendly mini monologue. I can do any of the above. The fireplace crackled. Rasheeda's radio went silent. No more cryptic tweets. No more eyeliner tutorials. Her accounts, dark comments, disabled. Her online store, under reorganization. Translation, brand collapse in real time. And just when the internet thought the chaos had reached its peak, Mona Scott, mastermind of mess herself, took the stage, introducing a new series, Reunion Fallout, Love, Lies and Lawsuits. A spin-off dedicated to the scandal that stopped the timeline. The first episode, the slap scene around the shade room. Uncut footage, leaked contracts, producer confessions. And guess who's got an executive producer credit? Yandy Smith Harris. The woman who got slapped, and said nothing. She didn't retaliate, she leveled up. On Twitter, the reactions were immediate. Sis turned a slap into a production credit. Iconic. Yandy gave silent chess. Rasheeda played checkers with her edges. Meanwhile, Rasheeda, the streets weren't buying the apology arc. Not even with prayer hands and PR. No amount of edge control, flat tummy tea, or faux healing journeys could scrub the video from the collective memory. Because this wasn't just a slap. This was a franchise fracture. A brand implosion, a meme, moment turned media milestone. And now the questions are bigger than ever. Was Rasheeda a villain or a victim of production? Was Mendeecees toxic or tactical? And is Yandy calculated and camera-ready, the most dangerous woman in the room? This wasn't just another love and hip-hop moment. It was the moment. And the producers know it. The sponsors fear it. And the fans, they're eating it up like Sunday dinner. So, what do you believe? Are you Team Yandy sipping wine, stacking credits, and staying unbothered? Team Mendeecees, protect your queen by any means necessary? Or still wondering if Rasheeda's slap was scripted, spontaneous, or just sad? Either way, this isn't over. More leaks are coming. More footage will drop. And more reputations will crumble. So hit like, set your alerts, and prepare for the next episode. Because, in Mona's world, even silence can be weaponized, and every clapback has a sequel.